Hello. Hi. God, just like what's the perfect greeting? I just don't know it. In this video, I'm gonna do something different. I'm not gonna have the expectation of myself to be too articulate or too entertaining in this video because that's not what it's about. I don't wanna be a part of making people think they're further behind than they are. I do want to be a part of giving people something accurate to look at. I want to talk to more people about this. I want more people to talk to me about this. I want more people to talk to each other about this. I want shit like this to be normalized, and it won't as long as we keep fucking prioritizing entertainment over accuracy. We could do both, but we don't, and we should. So I'm gonna. Like most of you, I've been in quarantine for a long time now. I think it's day 53 for me. This is an interesting time for a lot of us, myself included, because I don't have access to a lot of the coping mechanisms that I normally use to escape the chaos and pain in my life. I only have access to YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Netflix, those sorts of things. What happens is, like, as soon as those get old, those aren't distracting, those aren't satisfying in any way anymore. Crisis is right on the other side of that. And I've reached crisis. I mean, I've been reaching crisis. Like, I reach crisis often. Just saying. I'm always doing these just like one-off projects or practices to, see how valuable they are in my life. And the one that I started during quarantine is set aside time each day to reflect and just have a prompt and just fucking vibe. Just fucking stream of consciousness, just fucking vibing with the prompt. I just wanted to reflect a lot for 2 hours a day and see what comes up. And a lot has come up. A lot. There are 5 major, deeply personal things that I've learned about myself during quarantine so far. I want to share them. I'm gonna start with a really heavy one, so you know I'm not playing around, okay? And this one's crazy. The first thing I learned about myself during quarantine is that over time, I became convinced that I'm gross, that my body's gross. I can pinpoint 4 specific scenarios between 10th grade and my junior year of college when specific men vocalized that they didn't want to interact with me or my body in a certain way because it was gross. I'm a pattern person, and I don't know how I never saw that pattern, and that word like never kept coming up for me, but it obviously did now. Basically, I'd been in quarantine 45 days, desperate for like physical contact, and the thought popped in my mind, hey, maybe ask one of your platonic male friends if he would just like sleep in your bed one night, or if you could just sleep next to him one night. The thought that immediately followed was, you can't do that. You can't ask that. That's not fair to him, because he'll have to find a way to say no to you without telling you the truth that he thinks you're gross. And I like heard that thought. I like heard it with like my mind's ears. I don't know. And I was like, whoa, what the fuck is that? I could look back at the scenarios when these particular men said these comments and these things about me being gross. And I started to figure out all the ways it ladders up to my past behavior and my current behavior even. I now see, I don't think men approach me because I think they think I'm gross. I also think that the men who do approach me believe that it's common knowledge that I'm gross, that it's an objective truth that I'm gross, that all men know that. I must know that. I must think poorly of myself, which means I'm an easy win. Anytime a man shows any interest in me, I'm subconsciously thinking that he knows that I'm gross, and that makes me an easy win. And that's so fucked, and I'm sad when I realize that I'm thinking that. I also noticed, and I've talked about this even in videos, I've bragged about this like it was really something to brag about, but I thought it was, to be honest. I have mad stories, just mad stories of me shooting my shot at guys in these bold and creative ways and being so proud of it. And I realized like I had to sneak attack, have a whole plan of action on how I'm gonna shove a different characteristic down their throat or a different descriptive of me down their throat before they can pick up on the fact that I'm gross. For as many times I've shot my shot, no one's ever been like, yeah, word, I'm down. No one's ever been like, yes, let's go. And I'm like, maybe it's because I'm so fucking aggressive. Maybe they can sense the desperation in what I'm doing. I'm doing it to prove something, not even because that's. And it's bigger than that. I even noticed that, for example, my sense of style. Like, I live in Miami. It's 90 degrees here. My sense of style is, I mean, it is what it is, but it has so much to do with full coverage. Like, I don't show my shoulders. I don't show my arms. I don't show here. Like, I wear turtlenecks. Like, you know this. I say this all the time. I don't wear shorts. I barely wear sand. Like, it's all about coverage. And I have to look at the fact, it probably has to do with the fact that I have this deeply ingrained understanding of myself as gross. And I have to figure out now how to forgive these men who said this to me. I have to figure out how to kill the conclusion that I've come to, that if 4 different men who don't know each other, who knew me at different ages and different contexts, were all able to come to me and say, blah, 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 I don't want to interact with you or your body in that way because your body is gross. Like, I have to do serious fucking work to get rid of that shit. I really do. I'm stressed, but I'm only stressed because I can't afford a counselor. I need to go get a counselor and I need to talk to them about this. Insight number 1, okay, moving right along. Insight number 2, I have abandonment issues. I have abandonment issues. And I'm gonna be honest, I never thought I had abandonment issues because I thought abandonment issues, how many times can I say that in one fucking sentence? I thought abandonment issues, if they were gonna come from anywhere, would come from the home. Like, I thought for sure, if my parents' divorce did not cause abandonment issues, then I just didn't have them. I was watching a live counseling session with a relationship coach, and the first question he asked this person is, who hurt you? And I was like, oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. So, you know, I whip out my Google Doc and I'm like, ding, 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 like making a whole list. I was blown away by how quickly I could make a long ass list of people who hurt me. And then what I tried to do is I tried to categorize them. I tried to put them into like, you guys hurt me in similar ways. You guys hurt me in similar ways. There were probably like 8 to 10 people in the same group. And I realized that is my abandonment issues group. I feel abandoned by my peers. I don't know. I just didn't know that that could happen. I just never considered. I never considered it could just be with your fucking friends. I really thought it had to be your fucking divorced ass parents. There are a handful of people that were my peers, that were my friends, that I feel to this day so hurt by, and I feel hurt by them because I feel abandoned. I really feel abandoned. And these particular relationships had depth. I felt seen, noticed, heard, understood. I felt like boundaries were clear, expectations were clear, open lines of communication. All of those things made me feel safe and secure in these relationships. Like, our relationships were resilient, were adaptable, could navigate conflict. I did not foresee the end, especially like the blunt end of any of these relationships. And it just all still doesn't make sense to me. I also noticed that I look for evidence that people are gonna abandon me. I started talking to someone new for a little while during quarantine, and I mean, he didn't do anything wrong, but right away, I started looking for evidence he was gonna abandon me, and I didn't realize I was doing that. But you know, when it's over and done after the fact, I think about it and I'm like, damn, in this way, this way, and this way, I was looking for evidence he was gonna abandon me. In this way, this way, and this way, I was setting traps. That's trash. I don't wanna do that to anyone. So once again, need a counselor. Should I start a GoFundMe? My third insight is that I have vision. I have things to say. I have things to do. I have things to create. My vision is suffering and it's struggling because I'm not giving it a fucking chance. I'm not isolating it from the feedback loop ever. And that's a problem. I need to manage myself, my mind, my creations, my projects a lot more like, I guess, like a musical artist would. They isolate themselves and they bury themselves in the, what is it, booth, studio, whatever. They bury themselves there to grow and nurture and protect their vision, and they cut off access to the feedback loop until they have an album to put out. And that's a damn good fucking practice that I wasn't practicing at all. I would put out one video and live for the feedback, but the reward for me was the feedback. It wasn't the actualization of my vision, you know? I've decided that I'm gonna have a new expectation of myself in the way that I create, and I have to focus on nurturing my vision. And in order to do that, I'm gonna do what's like my version of an album, which is like batch create. Sound like I was gonna say batch shit crazy. Batch shit crazy. No, I'm gonna batch create. Like, I'm not releasing a video unless it's a complete idea and it stands alone. I'm gonna release 5 videos at a time. I'm gonna release a series at a time, a segment at a time, whatever. I either need to do that or I need to just turn off comments on my videos. I need to prioritize and nurture my vision and not live for the feedback. That's not easy to do. Our entire lives revolve around the feedback loop, and especially with social media, bro, we're all up in the feedback loop, and the feedback loop is all up in us. And I'm just like, it's fucking hard going to sleep at night, knowing you have vision, knowing you have a message, knowing you have things to say and do and create, and knowing you're not doing them because you're nurturing the wrong thing. So basically, I am just gonna shove down my own throat that I'm an artist and I need to manage myself like one. Insight number 4, masculine energy. Let's lay that one out there. I don't know what feminine energy is. About a year ago, I made a new friend and he said to me, you know what I noticed? You have way more masculine energy than other women. I was like, my God, it all makes so much sense. I just agree with him. I think everyone does. I have to question how much of this masculine energy is really just me being my own protector because I feel like people are gonna abandon me and think I'm gross. I don't know the answer to that, but I have to think about it now. And on the flip side of that, I don't know if I know what feminine energy is, bro. Like for real, bro. I don't. I don't know if I know what feminine energy is. And I'm like, should I be insecure about that? Am I blocking my blessings? Am I blocking relationships? And then I have to look at myself and say, no, Hallie, come on. Like, you're very nurturing. You're very loving. You're very empathetic. That is feminine energy, is it not? I don't know. I'm just like, should I be insecure? Should I be insecure about not knowing if I should be insecure about this? Like, oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. I just feel like, again, I need a fucking counselor. Just start the GoFundMe, Hallie. I'm stressed, but it's fine. Things I need to go to counseling about. And insight number 5, finally. I feel like in the last year, in particular, I have gained a lot of support from myself, a lot of trust. I respect myself a lot more, like myself a lot more, celebrate myself a lot more, all of those things. And a question I always have is, why do I still feel so goddamn heavy? What is it? I've done all these things. I've learned all these things. I've tried all these things. I've improved all these things. What's it gonna take for me to just feel light? God damn. I feel like I've been trying to find all these things that will make me feel lighter, right? And it's like the equivalent of a helium balloon in my hand. Here's another thing that'll make me feel lighter, helium balloon in my hand. Here's another wound that I healed, or another grudge I let go of, or another whatever. Oh, helium balloons in my fucking hand. I have all these helium balloons in my hand. I'm like, why the fuck am I not floating? It's because I have a cinder block tied to my motherfucking ankle. It's because I have a cinder block chained to my ankle that I wanted to ignore, that I didn't want to deal with. I just wanted to, you know, live a fun life collecting enough helium balloons that it would, you know, make me feel free and make me float and feel light and shit. And I wanted to ignore that cinder block. And you know what? I have realized in this quarantine, it doesn't work that way. It does not work that way. And I did this as a reflection, and I was like, what are those helium balloons for you? And I had a list of like probably like 150 things. And what is that cinder block? And you know what that cinder block is for me? It's food. It's my relationship with food. That's it. I can run from it. I can avoid it. I can ignore it. I can lie to myself. I can lie to other people. I can do all these things, but I will never be light as long as that is heavy. And I will never be free as long as I'm trapped in that. I need to address that shit, and I don't know how. And it's embarrassing, and it's sad, and it's shameful, and it's hard, and it's isolating, and it's so many things that I don't know what to do with. I just don't know what to do with it. I have these things in my head that are like, you could see a nutritionist and they would tell you what to eat, but it doesn't fix your toxic relationship with food. You could see a counselor and they can tell you why you have a toxic relationship with food, but that doesn't fix your toxic relationship with food. Like, I have this perception that nothing can change this. Somehow I'm so convinced that none of the resources available can do anything for me. At this point, this is part of my identity. A person who can be great and worth celebrating and healthy and everything in every category of life except this one. And that is part of how I identify, and that's just such a problem. I'm very excited about the next chapter of life. I'm about to leave Miami. I'm moving. And I just want to do things right. I just want to chip away at that fucking cinder block because I don't want that shit anymore. And I've said this before. I've said this for years to people that I trust. My life will never take off until I get food under control. And I'm not expecting perfection. Well, you can't comment on this anyway, so you can't tell me you don't have to be perfect. Yeah, I know. I'm not expecting perfection. I just want healthy control. I just want, it doesn't matter. Okay. I don't have to have a conversation with you about this. I need to go to counseling. Okay, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. I'm gonna do a couple videos, a series of videos. I'm gonna batch create a series of really quality reflections that I've done with myself that I think some other people may wanna do or don't wanna do and need to do. So stay tuned for that. Subscribe, click the little bell button so you get notified when I post videos, because those are good ones you don't wanna miss, or you do wanna miss, but you shouldn't miss, all right? Don't lie to yourself. Look, I'm not lying to myself. Don't lie to yourself. Dude, come here. What are you gonna do? You better not fuck it up. If you don't know what that's from, you need to evaluate your own life as much as I've been evaluating mine. That's all, friends. Have a good day. Stay healthy out there. I'm gonna go drink a gallon of water and then probably cry it out my eye sockets because that was hard. Yeah.